Hello. So good to see you today. Hey, just wanted to go through with you. If you're thinking about buying, these are like 10 critical steps we do not want to make when buying. So it's like the 10 do nots of buying a house. So let me go through those with you. I get a lot of questions about what is my first step? What should I do? This is absolutely what you should not do when you're buying a house. Okay. Red flags. Ready? I need like a flag here. I got a flag. Okay. So first of all, your first red flag is when you're going through the buying process, and let's say you've already found that house you want to buy and you're in contract. You've already got a lender you've started working with. You're in the process of going through to the buying, and it does take the lender some time to process the paperwork to get you ready for buying. You do not want to change jobs. That's a big no-no. So in lending, you need to have, if you're a W-2 employee, you need to have certain period of time you've worked at a company. 1099 employee, you're going to have a certain amount of time that you've been a 1099 employee to buy a house and have that going for you. Red flag number 2, we do not want to make any large purchases when you're going to buy that new house, because that changes your debt to income ratio and you don't want to put that in a skew. So buying a new car would not be a good thing. So after you're done and you have the house, that would be an okay time to buy a car. But while you're in that buying timeline, do not buy a car, or you may be living in it. Just kidding. No, I'm sure you will not, but don't buy a new car. Next, you want to keep up your payments on, if you have any credit card payments. Wait, I forgot my red flag. Okay. No excessive debt on that credit card. So don't open new lines of credit. Don't inquire about other credit, because we want to get you through that buying process. And at this time, let's not make any changes, because we don't want anything to go a whack. I've had people that went back through after they've already, gone to buy the house and then didn't qualify because maybe that debt that they acquired during that time threw them off on their debt to income ratio. And that can only be a certain percentage. So we want to make sure that you're going to meet those guidelines. Number 4, I'm on 4. Flag, do not spend money that you have set aside for closing. Seems simple enough, right? So typically you are putting in a little bit of money down. Typically it's 3 to 20% when you're doing a down payment on a house. You're excited. Don't go spend the money though that you have saved for your down payment and when you're going to go buy a house. Next, 5, let's say that you have, some debt and you think maybe it's going to fall off or something's going to happen. And so, the lender doesn't need to know about that. Yeah, go ahead and disclose to them any debt you may have, and don't omit debt. So let's say you had maybe even a child support payment that you're like, well, I don't really have to do that. Just go ahead and disclose to him or her whatever that might be, so that they can calculate your ratios correctly. And it may not even come into effect, but you would not want that to pop up, say, a little bit before closing. You've already done money down for, like an inspection, option period, earnest money, and you wouldn't want to lose that because you did not disclose information to that lender. Okay. Next, don't buy furniture. People don't tell you that. This actually is a real life scenario. Don't buy furniture before you're closing. We had bought a house one time and it's a bigger house. I was gonna get it already. And I didn't know at that time, that was before I was in real estate, but nobody had told me not to spend money on furniture. So don't go making any large purchases when you're buying a house. You're like, but that wouldn't be any big deal. It's this much money. No, it is a big deal, and it messes things up with the lender. So don't make those changes at this time. So do it prior to applying for the house or for the loan, or then do it once the loan is closed. And really, you're going to get your furniture pretty quick if that's, what it is. So just don't buy any furniture during that time while you're waiting. And typically lenders are taking anywhere 21 to 45 days to get a loan closed. 45 days would be a long one. That might be a VA even. But just let's not make any big purchases during the time at which we're waiting to, get the loan approved. So that will help you to, be on top of things. Also, ready? Next one. Do not get any credit inquiries while you're in this loan process. Their lender is going to go back and rerun your credit at the end. So we don't want to see, that you made an inquiry to purchase a car, furniture, it could be anything, a ring for the girlfriend you're moving in with, anything like that. So just don't have extra credit inquiries, and that will make the loan process much smoother. Then next, ready? This one seems like opposite of what I'm saying, but let's say you got a bonus check. You don't really want to make large deposits into your account, because then the lender is going to have to investigate where did that money come from, and you have to be able to track it. Let's say you got money from 3 different sources. Well, you don't want to make any large deposits. I mean, that's not just money going out, that's money coming in too, right? So it could go either way there. Ready? Here's my next one. Let's say you got mad at the bank you're with, and you're like, no, I'm going to switch banks. No, go ahead and stay with the bank you're with. Don't change your money, because again, lenders have to track all your money coming in and out while you're going through that loan process. So let's make sure that you are not changing banks. Okay. Last but not least, the do nots for when you're buying a house. Do not co-sign for another person. I mean, sometimes we see parents will co-sign for somebody, or even a spouse or something like that, or a friend. Don't do it while you're going through the loan process. That's a really good way to get denied your loan, and we don't want that to happen. So just avoid any co-signing of any papers for anyone. Really roughly in the industry, we call that the 10 commandments of buying a house. Thou shalt not. So you shall not change jobs. Don't change from like a 1099 to a W-2 employee, or a W-2 to a 1099. Especially don't change from W-2 to 1099, because you have to have so much income during that time to reflect. Changing from W-2 to 1099 is much more difficult, because you need like 2 years of records for that lender, right? You don't want to wait that long to buy a house. Don't be paying all this money to a landlord either, by the way, but that's a whole nother video. And then don't buy a car. That's a big hit on your credit. That's going to skew your debt to income ratio. Don't use credit cards excessively. Don't charge. Don't let any accounts fall behind. Stay current, because those kind of things can also mess up with, your lending with the lender to get that account, your loan for your house. Don't spend money that you already have set aside for closing. Do not omit debts or liabilities when you are filling out your loan application. No buying of any furniture. Furniture can be expensive these days, right? So none of that. And then no inquiries into your credit. Like, you just want to, try to remain pretty straight and narrow on that, what you're doing and spending money on during that 21 to 45 days And then really, I mean, I'm not saying do it at any point, because if you're going and you're applying for a home with a loan, you probably have a certain amount of money saved. And then, you know, you probably do have good credit, because you would be able to qualify if you didn't. So we just don't want to throw that out of whack. Try to not get a lot of inquiries on that credit of yours. And then don't make large deposits unless the one thing is, you could check with your lender and see if that was okay, and they could tell you, you know, whether that would mess it up or not. But generally, you do not want to have large deposits into those accounts. And then don't change bank accounts. They know that's where your money is, so we don't want to see that all change. And last, no co-signing of anyone's loans. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you. And those are the no's when you're buying a house. So just stay tuned. I'll have more tips for you. Talk to you soon.